Cuba is currently experiencing the newest onslaught of U.S. genocidal imperialist policy in the form of collective punishment right now, which has led to a collapse of their electric grid and could potentially starve 11 million Cubans. So let's talk about Cuba with a Cuban, me. And before we get started, and I can't believe I have to say this, but I'm going to give an opinion that is not typical of the average Cuban within the United States. At no point am I going to advocate for regime change, nor will I ever. Before the Cuban diaspora get into my comments calling me a communist, well, my suggestion to the pro-US imperialist Cuban diaspora, or any imperialist dog that wants to get into my comments, you should probably do the same thing you do anytime the United States collectively punishes Cuba, which is look away and say nothing. I mean, you should be used to that by now. Right now, things in Cuba are worse than they have been for decades, which is saying a lot, and it is all because of the US imperialist blood cult. After illegally kidnapping the president of Venezuela, Nicolas Maduro, the United States has stopped the flow of Venezuelan oil going into Cuba and implemented a total oil blockade on any country sending oil to Cuba, otherwise facing intense US sanctions. This has started the newest starvation campaign on Cuba to push forward regime change. That is an act of collective punishment, and that is a war crime. No oil means no electricity. No electricity means no food, and no life-saving medical procedures can happen in Cuba. And that's exactly what the United States wants. They want a total collapse of Cuban society and to starve the people on the island. Cuba was already dealing with nationwide blackouts from time to time, but this newest onslaught has caused some parts of Cuba to not have power for up to 8 days. And no power means that Cuba's hospitals don't have the capacity to treat certain patients. That means dialysis patients can't use machines, that incubators in the NICU cannot save infant children. And the Cuban president has already spoken about all of the children and adults who are currently awaiting life-saving surgeries because there was no power. Now, the incredible ingenuity of Cuban engineers did manage to bring back the electrical grid after about a period of 29 hours of total and complete blackout. But that doesn't mean that it's any more stable. Another collapse of the electric grid means no power for 11 million people. That means food is rotting. That means sewage is piling up on the streets. That means water pumps aren't working. And any country that tries to send Cuba oil is being blocked by the US Navy. That is a death sentence for Cubans. Meanwhile, the walking flesh sack of cholesterol that is the United States president a few days ago said, "I do believe I'll have the honor of taking Cuba, whether I free it, take it. I think I could do anything I want with it." Of course, the Republican Party of the United States completely backs this evil that is happening. But what of the opposition party? Well, they've been completely silent, completely complicit in the US's imperialist genocidal policy that is put forward because ultimately both of these parties agree that US imperialism is a great thing. Political parties being silently complicit while the US government funds a genocide. Where have I seen that before? But Cubans are no stranger to defending their sovereignty. They have done so since the 60-plus year embargo was initially placed on the island. According to UN reports, the US economic blockade on Cuba has cost the nation $130 billion. Since the United States' position is that socialism doesn't work, then why on earth wouldn't they just let it fail on its own? No. They have to economically crush it. They have had to live through a 60-year embargo that has attempted to devastate their socialist system, and in the face of that, they have created one of the greatest medical programs in the world. It is internationally renowned. They've created things like lung cancer vaccines, Alzheimer's treatments. They have raised their life expectancy higher than that of the United States. They send their world-renowned doctors around the globe to help patients, especially when there's crises like the COVID pandemic. They even offer to send doctors to the United States when Hurricane Katrina happened. The United States, of course, said no. And of course, they are the only country on the planet where Palestinian solidarity marches are led by the president. Cubans have been there for the world, and now it's time for the world to be there with Cuba. So now, what can we do? Well, the first thing you can do is tell the truth about Cuba. You can like and share this video if you'd like to send out a message from a Cuban, but it's so important to actually tell the truth about Cuba. Resist disinformation and U.S. imperialist propaganda. The second thing you can do is to donate to and share as much information about various organizational efforts to bring mutual aid to Cuba. There are so many groups that are visiting Cuba right now. Code Pink. The big one that's happening this weekend is the Nuestra America Convoy. That's including so many different groups have come together to visit Cuba this one weekend, and it is a great opportunity to get out as much information, to see Cuba with your own eyes, to hear from the Cuban people. It's important that we do that to combat all of the U.S. propaganda. Nuestra America Convoy, there's the National Network on Cuba, the Venceremos Brigade. Any of these, please check them out, share their information. Thank you to everybody involved with that. You guys are incredible. The next thing you can do, of course, is to contact your representatives. Now, I don't think this is going to do too much because most politicians in the United States are imperialist dogs and they don't care about Cuba. But you can call them and let them know that you support H.R. 7521, which is a resolution to lift the embargo on Cuba. If phoning your congressperson is your thing, hey, maybe that's the right option for you. So there are plenty of things that you can do to help Cuba right now, including educating yourself about Cuba. Get rid of the U.S. propaganda inside of your brain and actually learn about Cuba. There's plenty of places to do that and plenty of actionable items that you can do in the clicky parts of my page. If you stuck around this long, I just want to say thank you for helping my people. Together, people like you, people like me, we can defeat U.S. imperialism and we can stop U.S. terrorism. We can heed the word of true revolutionaries when they said defending the Cuban Revolution remains an act of internationalism in its most profound form. Thank you, and viva Cuba.